Looking for the best vacuum cleaners? In this video, we'll be showcasing 6 of the top vacuum cleaners on the market today. Before we get started, don't forget to check the links in the description below to find the one that fits your budget. Now, let's dive in. Number 1. Dyson Gen 5 Detect Absolute Vacuum. The Dyson Gen 5 Detect Absolute Vacuum is an upgraded version of the Dyson V11 Detect, a cordless model that Forbes vetted has previously picked as the best cordless stick vacuum, best Dyson vacuum overall and best vacuum for pet hair. In my testing, I found that the Gen 5 Detect Absolute not only delivered superior performance, easily removing debris from low-pile carpet, high-pile carpet and hardwood flooring, it also was a real pleasure to use. At 7.7 pounds, it's slightly heavier than some of the other cordless models I tested, but it's still easy to maneuver and move between floors. It has the longest battery life of any cordless stick vacuum I tried, topping out at 70 minutes where comparable models could do only 40 minutes. The second longest battery life was my best cordless pick, the Dyson V11, at up to 60 minutes of runtime. Unlike the other 3 stick vacuums I tried, the Gen 5 Detect is equipped with a button to turn the vacuum on and off rather than a trigger, a nice feature that prevented my hand from cramping up when using it for prolonged periods. It also has a crevice tool built into the vacuum, nested inside the tube that connects the motor and the vacuum head. That means converting it into a handheld vacuum is a snap, no need to dig around to locate the other attachment you may not have immediately on hand. The Gen 5 Detect Absolute comes with both a digital motor bar, a more standard Dyson vacuum head, and a fluffy optic head, an attachment that uses a precisely angled arc of green light to illuminate dirt and pet hair. That fluffy optic head is where things get really fun. It identifies stray pet hairs and specks of dust that are invisible to the naked eye. I found using it to be slightly addictive. I would sweep over rooms I had previously vacuumed and find all manner of stray cat hairs and dust. The only major drawback is that on older hardwood floors, like I have in my house, the vacuum often illuminated flaws in the flooring that looked like dirt, but were just the grain of the wood. The vacuum screen also displays roughly how many of each size particle you're vacuuming up. That feature plus the built-in HEPA filter are great for people looking to target allergens in their home. It makes cleaning feel like a video game rather than a chore. Maintenance of the vacuum is easy. The canister of debris empties directly into the trash with a sliding button. It took a little getting used to the exact mechanisms, but once I did it a couple of times, it was no problem. I was hesitant to name a cordless vacuum as my best vacuum for most people because I worried that the battery life wouldn't be long enough for a whole house vacuuming. But to my pleasant surprise, my multi-level, 2,832 square foot Philadelphia row house presented no problem with the Gen 5 Detect's battery life, and moving the vacuum up and down the stairs was much easier than lugging the upright model I had used previously. The battery life didn't give out, and I didn't have to stop to empty the bin until I was fully done vacuuming. Number 2. Shark NV352 Navigator Liftaway Upright Vacuum. I have no lack of pet hair in my house. With 3 cats roaming around, cleaning away fur from couches, chairs, floors and other surfaces is a constant battle, so I know firsthand how frustrating it can be. Many vacuum heads will get tangled or clogged with pet fur, or simply not lift enough of it up during a first pass, leading you to have to vacuum the same area multiple times. But the Shark NV352 Navigator Liftaway Upright Vacuum, also our best value pick in our best vacuums for pet hair story, was one of the best upright vacuums I tried. It excelled at removing even the most stubborn patches of shed pet hair. In my house, cat hair tends to accumulate in corners, under the beds and on a velvet chair I bought in a fit of optimism. The Shark Navigator handled all of those spots with ease, thanks in part to a neat feature that lets you easily convert the machine into a portable canister-style vacuum, removing the debris pod and suction arm from the vacuum head. I could be cruising along, vacuuming up debris from the floor, and notice a thicket of pet hair on a chair. Without missing a beat, I could then convert the vacuum into its pod form and pick it up to vacuum up cat hair from the upholstery. I found, in general, the potential to convert the vacuum allowed for easier access to nooks and crannies, as well as more efficient vacuuming of surfaces that are higher than floor height. Though my house doesn't have a whole lot of drapery, it does sometimes have bugs, and I was able to suck up an offending spider from the ceiling midway through my clean. The Shark Navigator also has an easy switch that allows you to adjust the vacuum to tackle different heights of floor, going from bare tile to high pile carpet, say. The strong suction also easily handles pet hair that otherwise gets lost in the cracks between floorboards or the corners of the room, those dreaded little tumbleweeds that seem to collect, no matter what I do. I never had to stop to untangle built-up hair out of the vacuum, which can be a real pain when tackling pet hair. Some pet hair-focused vacuums have attached grooming tools that the Shark Navigator doesn't have, but as my cats are not particularly interested in being approached by a vacuum, it wasn't a problem for me. I also appreciated that the Shark Navigator has a generous warranty, giving you 5 years coverage in case of any mishaps. Number 3. Miele Complete C3 Calima PowerLine. The Miele Complete C3 Calima PowerLine, also highlighted in our best canister vacuum story, presents a lot of advantages. First, there's no limit to the motor's capacity, since it's separate from the suction nozzle. Second, because the nozzles, motor and debris bin are separate, it's much easier to deal with dirt that isn't at the floor level. The Miele Complete C3 is one of the heavier models I tested, but because the nozzle and the canister were separate, bringing it up and down the stairs was less onerous than with an upright model. It performed excellently on bare floors and low-pile carpet, but I was particularly impressed at how much scattered debris it got out of a high-pile rug, a test that tripped up the Shark Stratos Cordless Vacuum and the Tineco Pure 1S11 Cordless models, thanks to a manual adjustment setting that allows you to choose what kind of carpet the machine is cleaning, rather than the automated controls on upright models. Though the cord length is shorter than the upright models I tried, I never had trouble with it getting snagged on a corner or stopping short. It also has a huge debris bin, which means that you won't have to stop to empty it midway through cleaning. Like the Hoover Wind Tunnel T-Series Max bagged upright vacuum, the Miele Complete C3 requires you to swap out bags rather than simply empty the canister, something that could be either an advantage or disadvantage, depending on your personal preferences. Canister vacuums in general are great for cleaning surfaces that are elevated because you move the vacuum head separately from the vacuum motor, so if you have a lot of upholstery to clean, or want to seamlessly switch between cleaning the floors and the corners of your ceiling, they're the way to go. Miele makes models that aren't as expensive, so if you like the idea of a canister vacuum but want something more budget-friendly, the Miele Classic C1 Pure Suction PowerLine, which retails for under $350, is a solid option. I eliminated it because it didn't perform as well as the Miele Complete C3, picking up less debris on both the high pile and low pile carpet. But if you're looking for a canister that works well and is in a lower price range, it's a solid model. Like the Hoover Wind Tunnel T-Series Max bagged upright vacuum, this model requires bags, which is a consideration for long-term upkeep and care, but they're inexpensive and easily available on Amazon. Number 4. iRobot Roomba S9 Plus Self-Emptying Robot Vacuum. A robot vacuum should make your life easier, not be another device you need to tend to when it becomes clogged, trips over cords or skips cleaning difficult to get to places. That's why the iRobot Roomba S9 Plus Self-Emptying Robot Vacuum, the top pick in our Best Robot Vacuums Roundup, is my pick for the best robot vacuum. This model has a D-ring shape that effectively cleans corners and nooks where debris tends to accumulate. In my testing, the Roomba S9 Plus did the best job cleaning every size of debris from every surface I tested, compared to other robot models. The self-emptying feature cuts down on maintenance and means that the relatively meager capacity of the debris bin doesn't limit the robot vacuum's effectiveness. Robot vacuums are excellent if you have a larger home that doesn't have many stairs, or if you have an open floor plan. They aren't that great if you tend to have a lot of things hanging out on the floor, as I discovered when testing robot vacuums in a room with several piles of books. But overall, the Roomba S9 Plus avoided obstacles with ease and had an app and interface that were intuitive to use. Of the 4 robot vacuums I tested out, the Roomba S9 Plus had the best navigation technology, avoiding cords, pet toys and chair legs without trouble and without me having to intercede to gently push the vacuum on its way. The automatic emptying technology meant that I only had to worry about cleaning out the bin on trash day, rather than every time the vacuum operated. But the self-emptying function was startlingly loud, and it took me a while to get used to. It does take a fair bit of time for the vacuum to clean, particularly if you have a lot of square footage. The Roomba S9 Plus took about 2 hours to clean 750 square feet, which means that it will likely be cleaning a good bit of the day if you have a larger home and set it to clean the floors daily. If that's not a concern, it's a great option for an automatic, low-maintenance, high-powered vacuum to give a regular cleaning to your space. Number 5. Black+Decker Max Dustbuster AdvancedClean Cordless Pet Hand Vacuum. For the car, small messes or times when getting out the full vacuum seems like overkill, a handheld vacuum is the way to go. Handheld vacuums come in a variety of sizes, including very slim, very light versions that can easily fit in the back of a car or tuck into a corner of a room unobtrusively. The Black+Decker Max Dustbuster AdvancedClean Cordless Pet Hand Vacuum isn't that. It has a larger body than several of the hand vacuums I tried, but its superior suction and pet hair detangling tool made up for it. The bin capacity is 0.2 gallon, the largest of any of the handheld vacuums that I tested, which meant that I could vacuum up a whole mess or tackle the back seat of my car without having to stop to empty the debris canister multiple times. The powerful suction managed to get the most debris, Cheerios, coffee grounds, and baking soda off all the surfaces. It struggled a bit with high-pile carpet, but I found that every handheld model on my list did as well. It seems to just be a surface where you need a machine with a bit more oomph to thoroughly clean it. But I was particularly impressed by how well the Black+Decker AdvancedClean managed to get smaller particles of coffee grounds out of the low-pile carpet and the little crevices of my hardwood floors. It's great even if you don't have pets, but if you do, the machine comes with a clever pet hair motor head attachment that makes the thing look like a miniature version of an upright vacuum head. The attachment quickly and effectively got rid of lingering pet hair when I needed to give the couch a quick once-over before guests arrived. While the battery lasts only 20 minutes, that's more than double some of the other models on the market. One model I tested worked for only 9 minutes before needing a full recharge, and more than enough time to give an entire room a quick spot clean. A handheld vacuum probably won't ever be enough to cover all your vacuuming needs, but it's an incredibly convenient add-on tool to have in your cleaning arsenal. Number 6. Dyson V11 Vacuum. Though I named the Dyson Gen 5 Detect Absolute Vacuum, a cordless vacuum, as my overall best pick, I'm conscious, of course, that not everyone can or wants to spend almost $1,000 on a vacuum. If you want a cordless vacuum that works well, can tackle pet hair, bare floors and carpet easily, and has a sleek profile but retails for several $100s less than my winning pick, I recommend the Dyson V11 Vacuum. Though the V11 doesn't have the same bells and whistles as my top pick, no optic head with a video game like Green Glow, it still tackles messes handily. At 6.61 pounds, it's even lighter than the Gen 5 Detect, a small difference that can make a big impact. I found that bringing the V11 up and down the 3 flights of stairs in my house was slightly easier than the Gen 5 Detect, and that maneuvering it around tight spaces was also just a hair smoother. Like the Gen 5 Detect, the V11 has an LCD screen at the top of the model. Whereas the Gen 5 Detect displays how many of each size particle you pick up, the V11 tracks battery life and how much time you have left until the machine needs a recharge. The screen will let you know if the machine needs maintenance, if the filter needs to be replaced or some debris is caught in the vacuum head that needs removing. During one of my tests, vacuuming up Cheerios from a high-pile carpet, I accidentally scattered more Cheerios than I meant to, and the machine became temporarily stuck trying to vacuum up a giant pile of cereal. The machine's screen clearly showed me where the clog was, and I was able to easily deconstruct the machine, pull out the offending bits and keep vacuuming. It saved me the huge hassle of having to go through each part of the vacuum to look for what was gumming up the works. Though the V11 has slightly less battery life than the Gen 5 Detect, topping out at 60 minutes, rather than 70, it was still one of the longest battery lives of the cordless machines I tested. The Tineco Pure 1S11, for example, has a maximum of 40 minutes. It also performed well in my debris tests, ably sucking up baking soda, coffee grounds and Cheerios from surfaces with ease, aside from the one incident. I was able to do a full maintenance sweep of the 3 floors of my house without it needing a recharge. The V11 has a trigger switch to turn the vacuum on and off, rather than the handy button the Gen 5 Detect uses, which can get tiresome to hold down, but after a while I got used to it.